It's 40 past the hour. The new year means bigger paychecks for millions of Americans. 22 states have increased or will increase their minimum wage in 2007, and the new U.S. Congress will likely take up the matter in the coming weeks. But the bigger checks won't necessarily mean a higher standard of living. As Thalia Ashuris reports, many working poor are paying more for everything because of where they live.
The poor tax continues. I was born and raised in this area.
When Feresi Hogan-Rouse, a housing assistance director, moved to be closer to the low-income residents she serves, she discovered firsthand the high price of poverty just by switching zip codes.
We moved from 90745 to 90008.
Her car insurance company increased her premium by more than $1,700.
No accidents, no tickets. Nothing changed except that we moved about 11 miles from our other address.
Most insurance companies use customer zip codes as the most important factor in setting premiums. They argue that low-income zip codes equal high crime and higher liability.
If I'm living on this side of the street, good neighborhood, what am I likely paying?
Somewhere around $1,400.
Okay, and if I'm living over there?
Oh, $2,300.
But California's insurance commissioner, John Garamendi, says it's unfair to the poor.
The use of zip codes clearly harms certain communities. We're talking poor people, we're talking minority people.
Discrimination?
Flat out discrimination.
This area of Los Angeles could be any low-income neighborhood in the country. The bottom line is the poor pay inflated prices for almost everything. Car and home insurance, mortgages, even food. So we're talking thousands of dollars, potentially.
Potentially thousands of dollars.
Per year.
Per year.
And Matt Fellows of the Brookings Institution says low-income Americans are being punished for being poor, using as evidence the results of his recent study. Drivers from lower-income neighborhoods pay up to $1,000 more per year in car insurance premiums than those in higher-income areas. 4.2 million poor people pay higher than average prices for mortgages. And with few, if any, banks around, low-income people resort to check cashing and payday loan outlets that can charge as much as 400% interest. Fellows says there are solutions, good for both poor people and business.
Leaders need to lower the business costs associated with selling goods and services to lower-income families.
After a 15-year battle, Commissioner Garamendi won new guidelines that will soon force California's car insurance industry to base premiums on drivers' safety record instead of where they live. Feresi Hogan-Rouse can only hope the so-called poor tax will disappear on everything else, too.
I would like to say that ethnicity and race doesn't play into it, and I'd like to say that people aren't taking advantage of low-income people, but I see that happening.
Thalia Ashuris, CBS News, Los Angeles.
A new study says about 1/3 of all preschoolers in low-income families are overweight or obese, a condition that could set them up for a lifetime of weight and health problems. Conquering weight issues at any stage of life can be difficult, but science suggests it may have as much to do with the size of your plate as it does the size of your appetite. Dr. John LaPook reports.
Why do we eat when we're not hungry?
We are really a nation of mindless eaters. Hey, John, good to see you.
Professor Brian Wansink is taking a scientific approach to that question. His lab at Cornell University often looks more like a restaurant.
Great.
His theory is this: we eat with our eyes more than our stomachs.
Yeah, you like lasagna?
All these cues around us are suggesting how much to eat and what to eat. And at the end of the day, we've been essentially directed by these cues, not necessarily by our own thoughtfulness.
In this test, subjects think they are trying a new kind of pasta. They fill their plates, but after a mishap,
Anita, that's gross. I'm sorry.
they serve themselves again. They don't know it, but this time they are given a slightly larger plate.
When we've done this dozens and dozens of times, people end up serving about 25% more in these bigger plates.
Wansink estimates we make 200+ food choices every day. Most of them are influenced by factors we don't even notice, like the size of the serving dish or the distance back to the kitchen for a refill. In one experiment, he found that just adding food coloring to every 10th Pringle to suggest a portion cuts potato chip intake in half.
If you have every 7th chip colored red, what happens after people get to 7, they kind of go, maybe that's a portion. They might eat 1 or 2 more Pringles, but they're not going to keep going.
In real life, where nobody is coloring our Pringles, this research translates to dishing out set amounts of food rather than eating from a large box. He also advises limiting variety as a way to eat less, especially at those all-you-can-eat buffets.
It's not only variety that leads people to eat more, it's also simply the perception that there's a lot of variety.
Do you want any chicken parmesan?
And who you sit by can be just as important as what you eat.
One way you can do is just change the pacing. You can key in on the person who's starting last. Start after they do. You can key in on the person who's eating slowest and eat at their speed, not the speed of the person who's the speed eater.
People think willpower is the key to conquering mindless eating. Wansink's research finds self-control is only part of the puzzle.
The biggest mistake people make is to believe that they are the master and commander of all their food decisions, and to not realize that a lot of what's tricking them are sort of the barriers and the traps they set up for themselves.
Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
You're watching CBS News Up to the Minute. Still ahead, a look ahead at the economy for 2007, why it's all about you.
I was stage 4 and considered terminal. A 1% chance of survival. That pretty much stamps out any hope.
Pack it up, write your will, take your last vacation.
I broke down for about 15 minutes. I just couldn't stop crying, so I thought I was in big trouble.
And then I would find a commercial for Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and my life changed.
Everything I had seen on the web about lung cancer was grim. And then I came across the Cancer Treatment Centers of America website, which is full of hope.
You walk through the door and immediately have the feeling, yes, there is something that can be done, and we're going to do it today.
They took the nutrition area and the naturopathic area and the conventional medicine, and it all worked together for a healing.
You have to take responsibility for your own recovery. You may be scared and weak, but you have to get yourself in a position to get the best treatment that you can. There's always hope that it's possible to survive my kind of cancer. I saw people who did it.
I cannot imagine raising my son with that. And if we had not gone to the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, I really don't think that we would have him here today.
These courageous people found a place for hope, Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Our cancer information specialists are available 24 hours a day. Call now and they'll send you overnight this free life-changing video and cancer fighter information kit. In it, you'll see how state-of-the-art medicine combines with innovative complementary therapies to give you treatment options you may not even know exist in an environment that's supportive and compassionate. Please, call today.
It is never too late. As long as we're breathing, it's not too late to seek another opinion.
They give you a new lease on life. It's worth everything.
Coming up, our nation pays its final respects to Gerald Ford. Go inside a historic ceremony and celebrate the life and legacy of America's 38th president on The Early Show.
A final farewell to President Gerald Ford. Tonight, we'll have complete coverage of the solemn procession through Washington and the funeral service at the National Cathedral. America says goodbye to a president who's being remembered as a decent and honorable man. See why more people are watching the CBS Evening News with Katie Curran. CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
In his New Year's address, President Bush said the expanding U.S. economy was one of the big success stories of 2006, and he predicted more of the same for 2007. While different factors helped steer the economic numbers, Bianca Solorzano reports there was one common denominator.
2006 was the year of, well, you.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Your personal videos on YouTube, your personal preferences on iPods, and it was all about you on MySpace. And in 2006, you, the consumer, drove the economy, an economy that was moving slowly but going forward.
Personal incomes are up, wages are rising a little faster than inflation, and the consumers continue to be resilient despite all the curveballs thrown at them.
Curveballs like housing. In the first 10 months of 2006, new building permits and housing starts both went down by 26%. For most of the year, there was worry over the housing bubble, which at this point has sagged more than burst. Some expect a continued weak market through next year.
Going into 2007, there are some people who still hold that view. They still think that housing has another shoe to drop. But as the year drew to a close, the weakness in housing prices began to abate to some extent.
By year's end, oil prices, which hit a high of $78 a barrel in mid-July, dropped to $61. Gas prices fell, consumers' nerves were calmed, inflation fears were eased, and the Federal Reserve stopped its steady interest rate hikes. That helped corporate earnings, which led to unexpected record-level prices on Wall Street by year's end.
Earlier in the year, certainly through midsummer, the market was in a negative bias, and I think you would have been hard-pressed to find anybody that would have anticipated the close that we are now experiencing.
Economists call it the Goldilocks economy. Not too hot, not too cold. If only Goldilocks could tell us if 2007 will be just right. We do have predictions for the new year, though. Most economists say growth will continue, but very slowly, and that might just lead to a new interest rate cut by mid-year. Bianca Solorzano, CBS News, New York.
The holiday shopping season continues this week as gift recipients head back to the stores to return what they didn't like for things they do. But that's not as easy as it used to be. Claire Laker reports on how stricter return policies are forcing consumers to find alternatives.
Don't have time to return that unwanted gift? Maybe you could recycle it. Many, like Sandy Burnett, say regifting is harmless.
If something is bought for me that doesn't fit me, like why should it go to waste? Why shouldn't someone who could use it or need it or appreciate it have it?
Others say if you shop right, you can't go wrong.
I always give gifts that are thoughtful and caring. They're never regifted.
But a recent survey found nearly 70% of Americans think regifting is okay. And there are even some websites popping up to help you regift those unwanted presents, offering some common sense rules.
Your friend Sally gives you a gift and you give it to your friend Wendy, but Wendy knows Sally. That's not a good idea.
Some analysts say that it's retailers who are indirectly fueling the regifting trend by adopting stricter return policies. Some prominent retailers are even charging 15% restocking fees this season.
Still, many think regifting is, in a word,
tacky.
I don't regift because if the person gave it to me, that means they gave it to me for a reason.
Social watchdogs say there is one time regifting is always okay.
I think it's totally appropriate if you receive gifts that you have no use for, to give them to a charity.
And for many these days, it's just economical to rewrap that unwanted present and turn it into a gift that keeps on giving. Claire Laker, CBS News, New York.
An annual gift to those who love a parade was delivered in Pasadena on Monday. The 118th Rose Parade brought flowers and music into homes around the world and to a galaxy far, far away. KCBS TV's Jennifer Davis reports.
There is nothing like the Tournament of Roses parade. Close to 1 million people line Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena to experience the magic.
It's really, really spectacular. This is absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic.
It is a stunning sight. There are 45 meticulously constructed, hand-decorated floats. Seeds, grasses, grains, and gorgeous flowers bring the floats to life. This year's theme, our good nature.
When you see it on TV, you just never get the full flavor. When you're there and you see the floats, it's unbelievable.
The people, the band.
Velma Zenon is watching the parade in person for the first time, and she wants to remember every second.
Always loved the parade and never been to one and always wanted to go to one. So I'm grateful.
Pasadena is packed with USC and Michigan fans.
Go Blue! Hail to the victors, valiant hail!
This is like a little kid going to Disney World for us, and it never gets old.
Cheer for the Trojans and then hopefully go home a victor.
This year's parade had an out-of-this-universe feel thanks to nearly 200 stormtroopers. George Lucas was the Grand Marshal. It is all a feast for the senses, and it's hard to beat a front-row seat.
It's an experience to be here.
I love it. I come up here every year. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
KCBS's Jennifer Davis reporting. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
Protect your truck, trailer, off-road vehicle, or farm machinery with the world's #1 sprayed-on bed liner, Rhino Linings. At Rhino Linings Unlimited, you'll also find the ultimate selection of truck and SUV accessories. From the dirt and mud to the showroom floor, we have the accessories for your custom truck. From style to horsepower, Rhino Linings Unlimited.
For truck and SUV accessories, you have a lot of options. At Rhino Linings Unlimited, we can help. Rhino Linings Unlimited in Tualatin and Vancouver. Call 866-55-RHINO.
Beaverton Pharmacy is a leader today, and it has been for over 70 years, locally owned since 1934. Beaverton Pharmacy has one of the largest selections of bath safety, supports, walkers, and wheelchairs. From recovery to prevention, we have a large selection of braces and supports for athletic injuries and active lifestyles. We also offer custom compound prescriptions, including bioidentical hormone replacement. Beaverton Pharmacy Home Healthcare Center on Southwest Canyon Road.
Sell your vehicle on carsoup.com and get ready. Things start to happen fast. Full color pictures and all the information about your vehicle quickly find their way to thousands of local buyers. They get interested, they get in touch, and before you know it, for sale turns into sold. Sell your vehicle on CarSoup. It works. Smarter search, better results, carsoup.com. Selling a car, truck, motorcycle, or even an RV? Get results for just $25 till it sells, only at carsoup.com.
Let the magic show begin at the Willamette Vein Center. For the legs you've always wanted, visit the Willamette Vein Center.
If you made a New Year's resolution to lose weight or at least watch what you eat, you want to start by cleaning out your refrigerator. As Joey Chen reports, you can now get a hand at the supermarket to help you start anew.
Just getting to the checkout line is like running a gauntlet. We're bombarded with food rules. Fat-free, sugar-free, no trans fats, reduced fat, low sodium, no salt, whole grains. It's a wonder we put anything in our carts. Did you ever think going to the grocery would be this complicated?
It does get very complicated. Yeah, it does.
It is confusing, even when you think you know what you're looking for.
Kathy Williams thought she did, but today she's shopping for help with her nutrition questions.
I look for the fat grams. I just can't seem to get a handle on the types of fats.
Okay. Here at Williams Neighborhood Grocery and in a growing number of chains, the latest fixture is the in-store nutritionist.
Right.
Across the country, in places as small as Boone, Iowa, and as large as Sacramento, several supermarket chains now have nutritionists in their store aisles to serve customers who want to know more than labels can tell them. A cross between personal shopper and by-the-book food educator, nutritionist Sylvia McDonald offers aisle-by-aisle consults.
This is better than getting a fat-free dressing.
Absolutely.
She even trolls the Camp Hill Giant superfood store, giving advice to customers who don't ask for it. McDonald says it's pretty obvious they need it.
The looks on their faces are, just sort of back and forth, like, where do I start?
Many shoppers puzzle over organic and natural choices. Not a surprise given the skyrocketing growth of the organic food industry.
All right, I'll get this and see what happens.
Others just want to make better eating choices. 10-year-old Colin Knott found out he'd been starting his day all wrong. So these used to be a favorite of yours?
Yes. I ate them when I didn't have Pop-Tarts.
You either ate Pop-Tarts or Cookie Crisp. In just one lesson with McDonald, Colin learned more fiber, less sweet stuff. The new rule, no more than 10 grams of sugar per serving. So that's what you're eating now?
Yeah.
How are they?
Good. Yeah. Not as good as Cookie Crisp or Pop-Tarts, but good.
Good enough. Well, no one said it would be easy to give up the tasty stuff, but with a little help, it's easier to know how to make the right choices. Joey Chen, CBS News, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania.
Thank you for choosing us this half hour. This is CBS News, up to the minute.
Courtney Cox and John Mayer, next to All Llewellyn.
Now on CBS News, up to the minute. The nation's capital will pay its final respects today to the late President Gerald Ford. Will then make his final trip home to Michigan.
I don't know what is actually being accomplished.
And as the U.S. death toll in Iraq passes 3,000, some family members on the home front are asking why. Good morning from CBS News headquarters in New York. This is Up to the Minute. I'm Meg Oliver. Today is a national day of mourning for the late Gerald Ford, 38th President of the United States. Federal offices and financial markets are closed and mail deliveries will be limited. Mr. Ford died the day after Christmas at 93 years old. 3 days of public viewing came to an end yesterday, and his funeral will be held later today at the National Cathedral in Washington. Mr. Ford's remains will be flown to Michigan and buried tomorrow on a hillside overlooking the Gerald Ford Presidential Library in Grand Rapids. CBS's Cheryl Atkinson has more.
After 2 days of lying in state, honored by thousands of mourners, it was the family's turn to say goodbye. Gerald Ford's widow, Betty, surrounded by her family, offered a prayer to her husband of 58 years. Earlier, his grandchildren touched the casket in a final farewell. And there was a steady stream of dignitaries. President Bush and the First Lady made their way to the Capitol after returning from their Texas ranch. They were followed by former President Bush and his wife Barbara and one-time Secretary of State James Baker, former President Clinton and Senator Hillary Clinton, Donald Rumsfeld, Defense Secretary to both Mr. Ford and Mr. Bush. Ford's body was brought here Saturday from California, where he died at his desert home after a long illness. The U.S. Capitol is a place where Ford always seemed comfortable. Elected 13 times to the House of Representatives, his colleagues even gave him a special award in 1961, dubbing him a congressman's congressman. Ford's daughter Susan and son Michael greeted mourners. One family that came to pay their respects spoke to Michael, who gave the kids a picture of his father. Outside, they told us it was a unique chance to witness history.
It was very solemn, but very honorable. I thought it was very moving the way the guards were surrounding the casket.
Between the New Year's holiday and a steady rain, those who came to pay respects walked in with almost no wait.
Well, we wanted to come down because it's a president, and for all that they did for our country, we thought the least we could do is come out on a day like today.
Before the funeral, Ford's casket will be moved from the rotunda and lie in repose outside the Senate chambers. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
President Bush will deliver a eulogy at Mr. Ford's state funeral. Other speakers today, Mr. Ford's Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, as well as Tom Brokaw and the first President Bush. Katie Couric will anchor our CBS coverage, which begins at 10 a.m. Eastern, or you can watch all of the ceremonies on our website at cbsnews.com. A remarkable story of survival in Indonesia, where search teams have found the smoldering wreckage of a 737 that crashed into a mountain with more than 100 people on board. The plane out of Java was bound for Sulawesi, flying in bad weather when air traffic controllers lost contact. It took hours for rescue teams to reach the crash site, where they found a dozen people had survived. Somalia's president is ordering all fighters to turn in their weapons after government troops backed by the Ethiopian army routed Islamic militants from their last stronghold, Kismayo. Thousands of fighters were seen fleeing towards the border of Kenya. In Iraq, the U.S. military hasn't announced any American casualties yet for 2007, but it did add to the death toll for 2006. Central Command says 2 soldiers from the 3rd Brigade combat team of the 1st Cavalry Division were killed in an explosion New Year's Eve. That brings December's death toll to 113, the most for any month last year. Their lives raised the overall casualty count for U.S. service members in Iraq to at least 3,002. And of course, each life lost in the combat zone leaves a pool of tears and a shattered family here at home. CBS's Tracy Strahan has more.
Still crafting his new strategy to try to turn the tide of violence in Iraq, President Bush returned to Washington New Year's Day saddled with a grim milestone. U.S. troop deaths since the invasion began are now over 3,000. The president vowed to mourn each loss, but also not to abandon Iraq's fledgling democracy.
I don't know what is actually being accomplished, but I hope something is, so they haven't died in vain.
The death of their son still fresh. The Arnolds of Pennsylvania, like hundreds of families nationwide, continue to cope with the loss on the front lines.
And I guess we have to believe that he did make a difference. He paid the ultimate price, but with true honor.
Trying to stem the violence, the Bush administration is expected to debut a plan soon that could include boosting troop levels. The new approach is expected to be announced before the State of the Union address, January 23rd. News of the high death toll came as troops remain on high alert after the execution of Saddam Hussein. Hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets, protesting the death of the former dictator.
For many Sunnis in Iraq, the fact that Saddam Hussein was executed on a day that the Constitution itself says no person can be executed on is an indication that the Shia are flexing their muscles and really forcing their will upon the Sunni world, and particularly upon the Sunni population in Iraq.
While many are vowing revenge, so far the situation has remained relatively quiet. Tracy Strahan, CBS News.
Denver Bronco fans were just getting over the shock of being knocked out of the playoff hunt. Now they're dealing with the murder of a starting cornerback. CBS's Jennifer Miller reports.
Just 2 miles from the football stadium where the Broncos played, a huge limousine that carried one of its rising stars sits riddled with bullet holes. Police say cornerback Darrent Williams was killed in an early morning drive-by shooting, just hours after the Broncos lost their final season game. A vehicle pulled up alongside Williams's limousine, and at least a dozen shots were fired.
We're looking for a white GM model, either Suburban or Tahoe, with dark tinted windows.
Police say there were several people in the limo. They have not released the names of 2 others who were shot, but say they were not players. Several hours after the shooting, a homicide detective and Denver Crime Lab team were still at the scene, taking photos, gathering evidence, and trying to determine a motive. The shooting may have stemmed from an argument in a bar.
They got into an argument and then they left that club or bar, and the guys followed them and opened fire on the car.
Sports reporter and former Bronco player Reggie Rivers says the team is in shock.
He's one of our go-to guys in the locker room because he's always so affable.
The 24-year-old was a Broncos newcomer, number 27 and well-liked. Friends say Williams had a big heart and a bright future. Williams was a second-round draft pick and started 9 times during his rookie season. He wanted to set up a free football camp for kids and go back to his home state of Texas to encourage them to stay out of gangs. Jennifer Miller, CBS News, Denver.
Wacky resolution.
Can Dr. Phil help a 22-year-old afraid to be without her blankie?
You hold your blanket and suck your thumb.
All new Dr. Phil.
People don't want to see that.
Watch today at 3 only on KOIN News 6.
Finally, a mailbox designed for today's consumer. It features a hopper-style opening that's just the right size for medication bottles, boxes of checks, small packages, oversized catalogs, and of course your standard mail too. Now available at Mailbox Solutions, 503-682-1500, or online at www.mbxs.com. The new locking Columbia Gorge mailbox. It just makes sense.
Experience Bella Casa, truly unique furnishings and inspiring accessories. Visit our new expanded showroom at 9th and Everett in the Pearl and see our exclusive line of handcrafted Italian ceramics. Bella Casa, where old world elegance can blend seamlessly with new world chic to create your own personal style. It's an ever-growing and ever-changing space that is always new and different. Bella Casa, distinctive, elegant, home decor.
Welcome to Brand Source.
We carry all the major brands.
And we're the source for low prices.
These neighborhood Brand Source dealers have been serving you for over 40 years. Come in today and rediscover service.
And with the help from our appliance experts, you're sure to make the right choice.
So come in today. We're always open to all your questions about appliances.
In Gresham and Sandy, see Riegelman's. In Forest Grove, see Van Dyke Appliances.
It's a brand new year and a brand new Ellen. And Courtney Cox reveals a brand new secret about one of her friends.
Jennifer can tell me exactly what I wore the day I auditioned for Friends. She's a freakoid.
Watch Stay at Work only on Coin News 6.
It's 10 past the hour. President Bush is expected to announce his new policy on Iraq in a national address sometime between the start of the new Congress on Thursday and a State of the Union address on January 23rd. Iraq is just one element of Bush administration foreign policy that is likely to undergo some changes this year. Joining us with more on that is CBS News foreign affairs analyst Pam Falk. Good morning.
Good morning, Meg.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So what do you expect from President Bush in terms of the policy changes and the strategy regarding Iraq?
Well, there was some expectation that the execution of Saddam Hussein might put an end, or at least some hope that it might put an end to sectarian violence. It's only increased it, and we can go back to discussing what happened at the execution and why there is more sectarian violence. But it's going to put the burden on President Bush to find a way to resolve this, and perhaps a way out. U.S. troop casualties have reached 3,000. And so he is looking for what we've heard is a surge in troops, at least temporarily. And that's a problem. It's a problem for the new Congress, and it's a problem for the American public.
Do you think he'll outline a plan to begin troop withdrawal in the near future, or do you think we're still going to have to wait quite a few months before we see something like that?
I think he's first going to talk about the surge, and what the White House has indicated is that it will be in the context of an overall policy that will train Iraqi troops, and then ultimately there's always been a plan to withdraw U.S. troops, but it's gone on, and so without a major plan or without some acknowledgement of this bipartisan Iraq study group, it doesn't appear that there is something that is going to be very well received in the American public. And that includes American servicemen who were just polled, and among American servicemen and women, there is a very low esteem of the president's policy.
Well, we've talked a lot about Iran and Syria in 2006 and how they, fit into this whole mix. In 2007, how do you think the Bush administration is going to react to their president and the potential nuclear threat that he poses?
Well, in Iran, that's part of the problem, obviously, with Iraq. And what we're starting to see is because the Sunni perhaps oppression, or at least part of the problem is that the Sunni there may be attacks by the Shiites against the Sunni, and that's what we're really starting to see, and that is supported, at least the Shia insurgency and the Shia population, by Iran. And so we may see other countries coming in to support the Sunnis, and that is Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and the other moderate Arab states. In Iran, Iran's nuclear program has only gotten more and more farther along, and so the UN passed a resolution to stop Iran's nuclear program just a few weeks ago, and they reacted not only with defiance, but they may pull out of the International Nuclear Agency, the Atomic Energy Agency.
Well, how do you think the U.S. will react to that?
And so the U.S. reaction is likely to be more push for more sanctions, going back to the UN, and now we will have a new group at the UN to talk to.
Well, speaking of the UN, they also have a new UN Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon.
Yes.
Do you think the U.S. will reach out more to the UN now?
Yes, absolutely. I think Ban Ki-moon represents breathing new life into the UN. There was a very contentious relationship with the 10-year stay of Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General, and particularly because of Iraq. And now we'll see this South Korean Foreign Service professional who really wants to talk to the different sides and has an expertise on North Korea in particular, coming to the UN, trying to establish his new priorities. And I think in some ways there's much more ability of the Bush administration to move forward and now accept a new Secretary General and move into the UN to look for peacekeeping negotiations.
Well, do you think this will help the North Korean situation?
Yes, absolutely.
And how so?
Well, we did see this weekend that North Korea said they're going to expand their military, expand their nuclear program. So Kim Jong-il is still very defiant, but it is more likely that there will be some negotiations because Ban Ki-moon grew up with this. He's 62 years old. He grew up and professionally worked in the peace between North and South Korea. So he very much wants to talk to North Korea in addition to UN sanctions, and I think that may move the ball forward.
When you talk about North Korea and we talk about the potential nuclear threat that is there, should Americans be scared?
Yes.
I mean, how much of a threat is it really?
There is a threat, not directly as much to the United States, although the missiles they launched in July and then in October they tested the nuclear weapons could reach the United States. And people were surprised, experts were surprised that they could launch missiles that far. They're not looking to attack the United States. The fear is that if they start going down the road of nuclear weapons, other small states would. And then also you have the potential of dirty bombs by terrorists. So that's the biggest threat. And the U.S. should be worried about that. If they can't get that genie back in the bottle on nuclear non-proliferation, there's a real problem.
Any hope for the six-party talks?
I think there is some hope for the six-party talks, but only if Ban Ki-moon really, the new Secretary General, really puts his mind to it. He's going to have to hit the ground running, and I think there is some sense that he will.
Now, there's another hot button issue that we talked a lot about last year, and I'm sure it's going to be in the spotlight again during 2007, but Darfur.
Yes.
How do you think that is going to play out?
Well, there was almost an agreement right in the end of December that the government of Darfur, the government of the Sudan, would allow these UN peacekeepers in, but in the end, it's all fallen apart. It's very important, and Ban Ki-moon has said this will be a priority. There's a lot of publicity and a lot of attention, but it's a very complicated issue, and with the Islamic government, it's very difficult to try to negotiate peacekeepers in. But one would hope that it would move forward in the new year.
All right, it's going to be a lot of challenges during 2007.
Yes, a lot of challenges.
CBS News Foreign Affairs analyst Pam Falk, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Meg.
And we'll be right back.
Busy, I don't have time to worry whether my home smells fresh and clean. Airwick Freshmatic automatically sprays a lovely fragrance every 9, 18 or 36 minutes. Perfect for when my husband leaves his sneakers out. Which is good news when you're married to a centipede. Airwick, it's good to be home.
This weekend, big savings on Airwick Freshmatic. $4 off in this Sunday's paper. Try Airwick Freshmatic now.
Go ahead, I'll be right there. Wouldn't it be great if life worked like this parking meter? I could keep putting quarters in and stay here with my family forever. Of course, life doesn't work that way. That's why I bought life insurance from Colonial Penn to help make sure my final expenses won't become my family's problem. And it costs me about $1/4 a day.
For about $1/4 a day, just $7.95 a month per unit. Colonial Penn offers guaranteed acceptance life insurance to people ages 50 to 85. These days, funeral costs alone average over $6,000. Now you can get help with no medical exam, no health questions. And the rate of $7.95 a month per unit is guaranteed never to increase. Remember, if you're age 50 to 85, you cannot be turned down for any reason. After the first 2 years, your benefit will never decrease. As long as you pay your premiums, your coverage can never be canceled, and your policy builds cash value you can borrow against.
Call 1-800-443-5600 to receive free information in the mail. You'll get this handy guide to Social Security absolutely free. That number again is 1-800-443-5600, or visit our website at colonialpenn.com.
The way I see it, about $1/4 a day is an affordable way to make sure my loved ones have help to pay my final expenses.
A final farewell to President Gerald Ford. Tonight, we'll have complete coverage of the solemn procession through Washington and the funeral service at the National Cathedral. America says goodbye to a president who's being remembered as a decent and honorable man. See why more people are watching the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Coming up, our nation pays its final respects to Gerald Ford. Go inside a historic ceremony and celebrate the life and legacy of America's 38th president on The Early Show.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
It's 19 past the hour. Top stories and up to the minute. Funeral services will be held today in the National Cathedral in Washington for former President Gerald Ford. Most federal offices will be closed and there will be no regular mail delivered today, which is designated a national day of mourning. Iraqi officials say more than 16,000 Iraqis, mostly civilians, died in violent deaths last year. The Associated Press says more than 13,000 were killed. And the Pentagon says 2 more American servicemen were killed in Iraq on New Year's Eve, bringing the total through 2006 to at least 3,002. In overseas trading, Tokyo markets remain closed for the New Year's holiday. Wall Street also remains dark today, but this week is already shaping up to be an exciting one in the world of finance. As Claire Laker reports in this morning's CBS News Money Watch.
The nation's financial markets are closed today in observance of the National Day of Mourning to honor former President Gerald Ford, who died last Tuesday. When Wall Street does get back to work, the bulls will be coming off their best year since 2003. The Dow gaining nearly 17% for 2006. The Nasdaq was up more than 10%. The S&P 500 adding more than 14%. Now on Friday, the Dow closed off 38 points. The Nasdaq losing 10 points. This week, Wall Street will be focused on that all-important December jobs report, which is due out on Friday. The economy is expected to have created 120,000 new jobs, with the unemployment rate